Greetings. It's like 12 a.m., but that's besides the point. I'm up late, got a lot of stuff on my mind, been on the busy day grind, so now it's time to unwind. I've been thinking about the farm all day. It's one of my passions is going around and collecting apples or just wild fruits in general. And I see a lot of fruit trees around the new neighborhood. So I'm looking forward to waiting like another month or two until the fruit's ready and networking with some folks, knocking on some doors and seeing if it's okay to harvest some peaches or apples or whatever fruit trees I see. Make a cider, give them some cider in exchange for harvesting the apples, and we'll go from there. But there's a lot of fruit trees around, and that's a good sign. So that shows me that it shows me a lot of things. Well, it makes me infer that either people like growing food around here, or it's not frowned upon to grow food in your front yard. Like in some places, they like to keep it all business in the front and party in the back, but it seems like around here, everyone just like put it out in the front. Grapes, peaches, apple trees. I saw a 50-year-old apple tree today, so that's been here since like the 1970s. And yeah, so right now the goal is, or the main objective is to work hard always, but work a 9-to-5 job per se for the winter time, and work 2 9-to-5 jobs for the winter time and save up a whole bunch of money. And in the meantime, hey, stop it. Buckley, stop it. So save up a whole bunch of money, and in the meantime, network with locals in the community and see how I can't go about aligning another property for my farm, at least to plant my garlic for this fall before the end of November. And then that would lead me up to start planting vegetables next midsummer. So like next third week in July, when the garlic would harvest, or maybe it's going to be earlier because in a completely different growing climate. Maybe it's going to be a little bit later. But whenever the garlic would harvest, that would then leave it up to be transplanted into some fall crops, Swiss chard, cilantro. I have a list of crops that I just want to dial in. I believe it's like the garlic, Swiss chard, lettuce, cilantro, maybe like a winter squash or something. But I've done the really, really small, and some people will consider 1/8 of an acre still really, really small, and comparatively it is to some of these large-scale farms. Some of these large-scale farms, but from what I started with to what I went to, it was way bigger. From a 12 by 12 to an 80 by 80. So But it seems like I need to dial it back a little bit, maybe go a little bit smaller until I'm a little bit better or until I have more help. A part of me feels like I would have been able to maintain the 80 by 80 square better if I wasn't fighting weeds the whole time, because I wasn't able to get the mulches laid. I have that documented in great detail, but in short, I was creating this new farm, and between working and trying to get the farm laid out, it just didn't work out too well. I didn't lay the mulches thick enough, so what ended up happening is that the summer weeds penetrated the not thick enough mulches, and this 150-year-old pasture grass just completely took over the farm. So it ended up that like I really only had like this two or just one big like 80-foot row of lettuce that I was managing for the whole first half of the summer, selling to the co-op and another local health food store in my old town. And I want to get back to that. That's my passion. But sometimes you have to do things that you don't want to do to get to where you want to go. So that's where I'm at right now. And I came up with a new name for the farm. So the same views, outlooks, and practices, but we're no longer the grass-fed farm. It is called Sunshine Farm. And I don't know where it's going to be yet, but I do have a new name, and it's in a tribute to the new growing climate. Because the gray days are behind us and the sunny days are here now. So move forward in the great silver state of Nevada, and I'm looking forward to it all. Creating an urban farm in these next few years, inevitably to move out to some land. Who knows, maybe I end up staying with the urban farm. I'm kind of liking the little micro city life. We're the 81st largest city in the country. A little fun fact, but I think it's like 300 that on our ways up to like 300,000 people compared to the 10,000 people limit population of the town that I come from. So it's definitely a lot more people than I'm used to, and it's a lot more diverse, a lot of different cultures. So I'm looking forward to just being around that. And there's just overall access to healthier food year-round, it seems. I still got my natural spring that I get my water from. There's a co-op 10 minutes around the way. I've already spotted out 2 urban farms in the area. So seems like there's room for one more. And something that my mentor talks about is that that's one of the benefits of farming in an urban center, is that a lot of the times the farmer's market or the restaurants are only within a few miles, a few blocks, a bike ride distance if you may. And once you take it to the co-op, the health food store, or the restaurants, then they distribute it out. So, but then you have the farmers markets too. So yeah, I'm just really looking forward to taking everything that I've learned over the last 5 years and applying that and then learning a whole bunch of new things that's gonna interweave and coincide with everything that I already know. So it feels nice to have a blank canvas, but it also feels overwhelming because there's an unknown aspect of where the garlic's going to get planted. But yeah, so I got a lot of great ideas. It's just going to take a little bit of a time frame, and I have a whole bunch of goals and aspirations that I want to accomplish within the farming. I want to make this my life. I want to be able to farm and live happily, create income for myself along with community, maybe potentially end up doing some workshops or teaching sessions where some people come and learn, maybe do something for the kids. I don't know. But, well, I do know. It's just all those things. So, yeah, it really just comes down to saving up some good money. I got the seeds. So, really, it's just getting some good compost to build up that soil fertility. Maybe some seed starter mix to make some soil blocks. And really narrowing in. Oh, let's bring it back. Bring it back full circle. So, what I was saying is that I did it real small, and then I went up to like what was real big for me. And I think I would have been able to manage the eighth of an acre farm if it wasn't overran by weeds. So, establishing the beds with the garlic for the first half of the season will help eradicate weeds and help for weed-free beds to be planted in for the back half of the summer into fall and winter planting. And another way you could do that is just like lay down a tarp, but you know I'm not about the plastic. Or I guess the silage tarp is UV treated and it lasts for years and this, that, and the third. But you're either going to want to lay a tarp down for good amount of weeks or even months or just a whole season to have all those weed seeds germinate, and then sorry, like I said, it's 12 a.m. I've been up working hard all day, but you get the point. There's not going to be any more weeds. You're going to have a weed-free plot, and you're going to be able to plant directly into it. But if you don't lay the tarp down, or you don't lay the mulches thick enough, you're going to be fighting the weeds. So, and 80-foot rows are kind of like, usually they're like 120 or even longer than that. But if you haven't worked on an 80-foot row, they're can be excruciating to go down, harvesting and planting. So maybe scaling back wouldn't be the biggest downside, because until I'm comfortable that like one guy, me, can manage that all by myself with nobody else, then there's no reason to go that big. So unless I align with a partner, probably is in my best interest to scale back. But when it's smaller, that gives you the opportunity to plant it more intensively. And since things are smaller, you're closer, so everything is just in a more general area and it makes for quicker work. So just because something is small, it doesn't mean you can't pump out the production. So I'd say let's set the goal right here, right now. By this time next year, I will be selling my produce to local co-ops and restaurants, potentially doing a farmer's market, and I would definitely like to do some workshops, some volunteer days on the farm, a whole bunch of good things planned. So let's get it going. Let's create some localized food security in an urban center where development is on the rise, not slowing down in the foreseeable future. So it would be good to start focusing now on getting that secured, the localized food security. And another thing that all those fruit trees tell me, and flowers, perennial pollinator patches in front yards, fruit trees and gardens, and organic grocery stores and co-ops, is that there's a sign that people actually care around here about what they put in their body, where their food's coming from, and that's a good place to be in if you're trying to make that your livelihood. So I might do more of these live streams. I'm going about through my day, working, doing what I gotta do to survive, and I'm thinking all these thoughts through my mind. And it was just like, before I make a video, I kind of think about the video in my head, and then I'm just like, so earlier today I was like, hey, at the end of the day, you just gotta do a live stream. But instead of a live stream, I'm gonna call it a life stream. So it's a live stream vlog 1. And it just gives me, it doesn't even matter if nobody listens to these 17 minutes, but it gave me an opportunity to align all those combobulated thoughts. Combobulated, is that the word? Congested thoughts that were all like twingling and tangling in my brain. And it's just like, boom, now it's out. That's exactly what I was saying in my head. Now it's out loud. I can go back and rewatch the video if I want to. Or it helps you stay updated on what's going on in the Sunshine Farm life. So one love, wholeness, peace, and blessings, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much.